Hey everybody, welcome to the high desert. So this is the typical Investor Answers weekly Q&A. Hope everybody's doing well, and this is I'm rushing to get the last bit of sunset right there. Hope you guys can see it. It's a beautiful Sunday. Anyway, let's jump right in. So first question today was about MicroStrategy, and is it a good or bad investment? This question came in from a whole bunch of different people, and they're very concerned with the action over the last 2 weeks or so where MicroStrategy fell greatly. And people ask, well, why do you even buy MicroStrategy? Why not just buy Bitcoin directly? And the answer is leverage. So on Friday, I was live on Discord with Patreon, and a few of us were chatting about stuff, and we identified an arbitrage opportunity that MicroStrategy was severely undervalued. Now, I have a cheat sheet on my computer inside the house, and I have to look at some numbers. I don't want to get them wrong, but the exact numbers, basically, just like I went in on December 15th and 16th, I saw another opportunity similar to this. On Friday, March 5th, MicroStrategy tanked again. And just to get the exact numbers here, try to read them from a distance. The MicroStrategy itself, think of it as being worth $1.2 billion. And the market cap of MicroStrategy at the time, I need to get this exactly right, was fell to $5.19 billion. Now, the value of the Bitcoin that they have is 91,064 coins, which the value today is about 4.7 billion. So by my math, the arbitrage opportunity was the value, the intrinsic value of MicroStrategy alone was about $530 million based on the numbers, when really it should be worth 1.2 billion. So it was absolutely undervalued. So as usual, I went in hard with some options. A lot of people went in with stocks. Some people bought some leaps and call options, and it worked out very well. The bottom was exactly $540, and coincidentally, that was the exact same number that Tesla bottomed out at. So MicroStrategy and Tesla both bottomed out at $540, almost at the same time. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to snag the Tesla bottom, but I have a lot of Tesla anyway. But I did get the bottom perfectly on MicroStrategy, as did many of you guys out there as well. So congratulations. The MicroStrategy stock should go crazy. So within 2 hours of that bottom of 540, it already went up $80, up to $620. And I estimate tomorrow it should be at least 650 plus based on the action on Bitcoin today. Now, back to the question. The thesis question that everybody had was, per my math, and if you're familiar with Pareto efficiency, MicroStrategy today is 80% right now, based on the numbers, Bitcoin, 20% intrinsic value, 80-20, like everything in the universe is Pareto efficient. Now, the interesting thing is people ask, why buy MicroStrategy and not buy Bitcoin? Getting back to the question initially. So if you look at MicroStrategy today, or buying it at 540, if Bitcoin goes to $100,000, MicroStrategy will go to about $1,072 a share. Now, if you invest $50,000 in Bitcoin today and it goes to $100,000, you make 100% of your money. If you invest in MicroStrategy at $540 today and it goes to $1,072, you make 98.5% of your money. So that's why you invest in MicroStrategy, but only when it's cheap. Don't buy it when it's at $1,350 like it was a couple of weeks ago. So that was the MicroStrategy case, and I hope you all understand it is a very good call option on the future of Bitcoin, but you got to time it right. And these arbitrage opportunities come around once every, at this cadence, 3 months. So you got to be careful, patient. Okay. So the second question that came in from Marco was, should he short Uber and Lyft, considering Robotaxis are forthcoming from Tesla? Very interesting question. Thank you, Mark, for the question. And no, I would not short them. I actually bought Lyft and Uber back in March 2020, the beginning of the C19 situation, and they were on sale. I bought both at the high teens, I think March or April timeframe. And I was long up until about a month or so ago, and I sold out of my positions, and I felt it was better to park the money in other assets like MicroStrategy, like Tesla, things like that. So I would not short it yet, and the reason being, we are not sure if robotaxis will ever be a thing. We're not sure if Tesla will nail FSD, And it definitely isn't going to happen in the next 1 to 2 years, I imagine. Probably there's a good chance of it happening in the next 5 years, but not in the next 1 to 2 years. So don't do that. However, when that does happen, there'll be a lot of things you can short. Think car rental companies, think Uber and Lyft, think even elements of real estate, like all the parking garages around the world. They won't be required anymore. And this is the whole world of creative destruction that'll be brought about because of technology. So, great question, Marco. Don't short Uber and Lyft yet. Wait till we know more about where Tesla is at. And again, even if it does happen, it's going to be a long time before Robotaxis are actually insured on the roads and in all markets. So we have a long time. So Uber and Lyft should be safe in the meantime. So third question came in not from one person, but from many, many people. For those of you who follow my channel, I made 2 videos last week on psychology and trading and the different types of personalities based on 3 different methodologies and how they're either good traders or bad traders and what their problems are. And one of the things I mentioned in one of the videos was sometimes people have a hard time cutting losers, selling. Sometimes people have a hard time buying. But exiting out of a trade is the most important thing. That's when you actually realize your gains and your profits. And a lot of people struggle with this. So first of all, there's two key things that you need to be aware of when you're trading. One is if you identify a loser, identify them fast and cut right away. Do not hold. The longer you hold, the more you get underwater, and then the harder it is to dig yourself out of a hole. And every day I got lots and lots of messages from people saying, oh, well, I have this and I'm waiting for it to turn around, but I'm losing a lot of money, so I need to invest in something else so I can make up for the loss I've made on this asset. That's craziness. You should ditch that asset, put it into something immediately. Don't hold your losers. Sell them. Get rid of them fast. The other thing is, and I always say this as well, know your exit before you enter. So when you actually enter into a trade, you should have an idea of when you need to get out. So if you buy something, say at $10, maybe when it hits 20, that should be your exit, or at least a time where you are ready to pull the trigger to get out. And sometimes what I like to do as well is take my money off the table, sell half, sell a quarter, sell a third, and then keep the rest and let it run. So very good question from all of you. And I'm working on a more in-depth personality analysis where I look at exactly how different types of individuals actually work with different types of trading strategies. So stay tuned for that. And thank you for all the feedback. I'm making a lot of notes and digging up as much as possible. The fourth question came from SAAAQUIBALI. I hope I got that right. He said, since Bitcoin and Ethereum move side by side, can I just buy Ethereum because it's cheaper? And I said, no, they are not correlated. They do bounce at the same time when there's a spike in the market, but definitely if you map out the charts of Ethereum versus Bitcoin over the last 3 months, they follow very different trajectories. In fact, on average over the last 12 to 15 months, Ethereum has performed better than Bitcoin, but over the last couple of weeks, of course, Ethereum has been a little bit sluggish. And until this weekend, that has really bounced because of all the good EIP news that's coming out. Now I'm going to do a separate video on that, on why it's important and talk about things like London and other stuff. So, but in the meantime, don't consider Bitcoin and Ethereum the same. They're extremely different in every regard. And don't feel that if you invest in Ethereum, you're buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the safest class of asset, the most asymmetric bet that I know of. And the further you go out the risk scale, like with Ethereum, the more risk there is and the more uncertainty there is. However, I am long Bitcoin and Ethereum, very bullish on both, but they are not the same. So don't consider buying Ethereum the same as buying Bitcoin. So the final fifth question that came today was from, again, a bunch of people. I can't even begin to list the names, but Carol and Matt, I think Mark asked it as well. With the new 1.9 trillion in stimulus that's hitting the money supply, we get that it's good for Bitcoin, but is it going to crash the stock market? And a lot of people are concerned that we're in a bubble. My videos 3 weeks ago highlighted the fact that I felt we were in a little bit of danger. And it was uncanny how some of the things worked out. Anyhow, I don't know where the market's going over the next 2 months, but I do know the following. Long term, there will be a lot of creative destruction, which means a lot of traditional names are going to get smashed. That's just going to happen. Second thing, the winners will always win. and the winners will always grow. We saw that during the C19 situation with names like Amazon and Zoom and Tesla all breaking all-time highs. So I expect that to continue. Also, the third thing that's very important to remember, when money is pumped into the economy, it's pumped into the stock market. And there's an old expression called "don't fight the Fed." So when that happens, when that money hits, it's going to be good for everybody, good for the whole market, and it should rise all ships. So, nope. I think overall, if I was a betting man, I think the market still, it may trade sideways for the next 1 or 2 months, but over the medium term, the trajectory should be up for those good names. And we'll see what happens. There has been a bit of a move to value stocks lately, and I expect that to cease and money go back into the high-flying tech names. So, for example, Tesla, I believe, is completely oversold right now. If you look at any conservative model for the future, and I did one a couple of days ago, the future is very bright for Tesla. And even if they don't nail robotaxis in the next 2 or 3 years or 4 years, they're still licensing FSD for $10,000 a car. And that's pure margin. Pure margin. So think about that. Okay, final question is the fun question of the day. What is your favorite thing about the high desert? And the answer is the blue skies. The skies are always clear. The weather is always fantastic. But it is very dry. So you got to drink a lot of water, as you can hear it in my throat. And you got to use moisturizer in your hands and stuff like that. So that's it. Welcome to the high desert. And thank you everybody for tuning in. Watch the scammers below. Feel free to report them. And be safe, everybody. Take care.